Welcome to Glebe House. It was felt important from the outset that the new works drew from the original house as a basis for investigation. Concrete as a heavy material was selected over framed construction. The new works boldly reinterprets the structure and materiality of the elements that make up the original Victorian-era cottage. The off-form concrete draws on the solidity of the original masonry structure whilst introducing a new materiality. The narrow openings of the original facade are reinterpreted in similarly proportioned forms for a new period. An emphasis on vertical openings creates an alliance with the original fenestration. The project is not primarily focused on the connection to external spaces but looks inward with interconnections of cloistered spaces, created in selected framed openings. The outer concrete elements contrast with the timber elements that further define the various internal zones and functions within the house. The depth of the rear facade creates an interstitial threshold, which is a space in itself to be occupied and provide a sense of enclosure. The idea is to create intermediating spaces that ground the house in relation to both its interior and exterior. Within the house, the void acts as a centralizing space via which other areas of the house interconnect. Structurally, the house created many demands. We wanted the stacked concrete elements of the rear facade to appear to load at 0 points at the surface of the facade. We worked with the structural engineers over many meetings to find a resolution that worked for all. Gratefully, the house has recently been awarded Best Small Building at the inaugural ACS Awards. Thermal modeling was performed on the schematic 3D model, and the use of concrete added to the thermal performance of the building considerably, to the point where double glazing was not considered necessary. Complementing materials of near raw 15-meter continuous length floorboards and a restrained palette of black aluminium, stainless steel and oak appear throughout the house and create a cohesive connection between original and new. These materials were selected, partially, so as not to compete with the ornate patterning of the original house along with their own inherent qualities. The project's fundamental rationale is to create a family home that recognizes the various needs of the occupiers, spaces for children and adults with a flexibility for both retreat and engagement. Sustainability. Significant sections of the house are constructed from single-skin concrete, which, given its thermal mass, longevity and embodied energy as say in comparison to steel, was considered a sound choice as a building material for the temperate climate of Sydney. Thermal modeling was performed on the schematic 3D model, and the use of concrete added to the thermal performance of the building considerably, to the point where double glazing was not considered necessary. Transport of concrete was from the Hanson site in Glebe, less than 2 kilometers from the site. The house is designed and constructed for longevity. Aside from the materiality, the use of narrow openings with deep reveals to the rear western facade aids in reducing direct sun in the summer months. The timber flooring material is from a 4th-generation family-owned business from Plantation Forests FSC and PFC certification. The flooring is finished with soap and lye, which are inert materials with E0 organic volatile emission.